All right, peace. Okay, so what is going on? I am back with a request. This is Venus squaring Pluto Synastry. Guys, thanks for the request and keep them coming. I will definitely get to them as soon as I can. Okay, so let's start here, because what do we have? We just gonna get straight to the point here, and like, what do we have? Automatically, um we have a situation to where you have two entities, two planets, two people that sense an attraction to each other. Now, at the timing that this happens, that's neither here nor there, because we could say that possibly Pluto is noticing the Venus person first. We can say that. You will usually see that being said because of the because Pluto would be considered the more powerful planet, etc. However, I'm gonna let you know this. I do look at it kind of like Venus could definitely notice the Pluto person first, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Venus is more of the, no, Venus is the personal planet, and when we our personal planets to us, the energy and the activities that's going on with our personal planet, we notice them. They affect us more than like the generational planets, because we're always focused in on ourselves. You know, it's that's just how it goes. And let's put these two in proximity with each other. Maybe Venus is at a job doing some work, shopping, hanging out with some friends, looking online, whatever. And they come across a Pluto person, like maybe something the Pluto person is doing. Because remember how the Pluto person is exerting their personal power, or their power overall in general. Because remember, Pluto could be operating and doing and just living and just being, not even, I feel like where we have our personal power at, yes, we could have confidence in that area naturally. It could be a subconscious thing, and we're doing that, and we're living that in our Pluto energy, and then it's like boom, Venus notices this and could be like, you know what? Even if it's not anything specifically about looks per se, that could play a part. But I'm just saying, even if it's not, the Venus person could be like, you know what, like, it's something about the Pluto person that's like, like, I'm digging a little bit. A little bit. But in this situation with the two, the more that they're around each other, or the more that they're affiliated with each other, let's just use this online. Y'all know y'all gotta bear with me. Y'all know I gotta paint my story before I go and before I do anything else for some of these aspects. But let's just say Venus, or let's say you're online. Let's just take the Venus out of it real quick in Pluto. But let's just say you're online and you're watching content, and you come across an individual where you just kind of like, man, you know what? It's something about him. You know, like, I like his little dance moves. I like his little pose. You know, there's something about him that is just like definitely sexy. You know what I'm saying? And you find yourself looking at more. And the more you look at it, the more you be like, yeah, that's my babe. Like, we ain't never met, but that's my babe. Like, I'm feeling that. And then there is this draw, and then there is this sexual component too, to where you're just like, man, if I was in proximity to him, you know, this could be something that is on and popping. That, to me, is the Venus square Pluto aspect. You get what I'm saying? Because even though you're looking and there's this energy there, that person that you're looking at, they don't know, you know, unless you tell them, but still they don't know. There's something there too that's keeping the distance, or keeping you guys apart possibly. But, you know, that's making it hard to be in vicinity of each other. But at the same time, you know, that attraction is taking place. Okay, now let's fill Venus and Pluto into these spaces. Pluto being the content creator, the person that you're viewing, and Venus being the person that's like having this attraction. Now, let's take these individuals and we put them in vicinity with each other. You know, the Pluto person can often be like, why is Venus into me? And when this is sparked and the Pluto person is into Venus, Venus could be like, could not know. You know, it could be one of those things where Pluto was like, yeah, I actually liked you too for a long time, or I had a crush on you too, or I was watching you too, you know, I just never thought that we would make this connection. Because there's something about it, and this is squaring energy to me, that makes sense, but it don't at the same time. It's like, man, it makes sense, the attraction here, but it doesn't, because it's certain parts of our life that brings us together that doesn't make sense. And this could be anything from beliefs to interests to values, value systems, etc. And what do we have? This is what the squaring energy, that aspect, brings in, because you have attraction, even if it's not immediate. It's the more that you're affiliated with each other, the more that you're around each other, it gets deeper, it gets stronger. You have wanting to be around each other, possibly, or having to be around each other. Now, because I don't make this specifically about just love relationships, because we have people that are in contact with these Pluto aspects to where things were abusive, but they didn't know how to get out of the situation, from around the situation, or it wasn't necessarily their choice. They just know, like, okay, well, I had to be around this person, or I'm in vicinity of this person, and it doesn't work and it doesn't make sense. But, you know, it could be a lot, but it's what it is. So even with like the relationship synastry, this plays out. And even though you're around each other, or you're attracted to each other, because there's something that's unfamiliar that's there, that actually can put you both in a situation to where you trigger each other enough to be like, okay, well, I need to make these changes. And the key, this is the thing, the foundational aspect of this here is like, either you make the changes together, or you're just like, no, because Pluto wants to hold on to this power, or because of jealousy, of insecurities. The square between the two brings out these jealousies, brings out the possessiveness and the insecurities over somebody's natural way of being. It may not be provoked. Like, for instance, Venus conjunct Pluto. Venus conjunct Pluto, it's, okay, well, I know what is going to make this person jealous, or I know what's going to trigger this person's possessiveness, or whatever. Venus squaring Pluto could be, I don't know, but I'm just doing me. So let's take someone that is the Venus sign, and the Venus sign could be a flirt, or the Venus sign could be over friendly, or just friendly. Let's not even say a flirt, let's say they're friendly. And they're more outgoing. The Pluto person could be like, okay, like, why was you flirting with that other person there? And the Venus person is like, what? I'm not, like, I'm literally just doing my job. You know, my job, waitressing, or you know, my job, photography. I gotta come across different people. And the Pluto person is like, yeah, but it's the way you smile. And the Venus person is like, I'm just being nice. Here we go with a trigger, this situation that becomes something else, where now you got them doing tit for tat things, petty things to each other to try to get the other person to see how the other person feels. In the power struggles that come in, you would think like, oh, let's just communicate about what the situation is and resolve it. I feel like these would be two individuals that have to be kind of confident, or like sure in themselves, or, you know, secure, I would say, because, and it's not to say that what one is accusing the other one of is not true. I'm not saying that it's not true or false. I'm saying that it has to be a level of just personal respect that in consideration that has to play out here. And that could be very hard for the Pluto person. And the Venus person could feel like the Pluto person is controlling them, or they just keep trying to make changes towards them, and they want the Pluto person to not try to be as controlling and to accept them for who they are. When the Pluto person could just naturally be acting in their psychology and their power. It's just the person with the Pluto aspect just being themselves, like just being naturally powerful in giving advice, like a counselor, just being naturally powerful in emotions. The Venus person could feel like it's too much, like, okay, well, yeah, you're being emotional in a situation where this calls for us just to be partners and understand each other and communicate. And the Pluto person could be like, what? Because I care about the relationship. I care about you. And the Venus person is like, yeah, but that's not what I need you to show me to care about me. Caring about me too is just understanding, having understanding sometimes. The Pluto person can do a lot of things but have understanding. Because it's kind of like, what do I need to understand? Like, I dominate here in this position. So I would say that with this Synastry aspect, there is attraction. There is, wanting to be around each other. And there could be circumstances that cause that not to happen. But it could be a lot of, and the sexual chemistry could be good, but it could be off. Like somebody being ready and the other person is not, but when it happens, it can happen intensely, but it just kind of send people to their crazies after that. Like one person being overly controllable of the other one. One person wanting a relationship, but the other one's like, oh, well, you know that we can't do that. You knew the situation beforehand. But, these two do get into relationship with each other. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like it depends on what both individuals want and to see inside of a relationship, and who's willing to bend a little bit in order to make that happen. I say both people have to be bending a little, not one or the other. Because it becomes this game, this psychological game that really makes you question, like, well, why are we together then? More than anything. But anyways, okay, so this has been Venus square Pluto Synastry. I'm Butterfly to Light, and I'm gonna be back.